Welcome back, y'all, to another episode of Now Black and Barred. It is your favorite host, Avi B, and today we have a special host. A special guest. I am so excited to be bringing on one of my fellow legal eagles. We got Mr. Cameron Red in the building. Cam, biom, 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 biom. Welcome to the
Hello, hello,
podcast.
hello. Glad to be here.
Yeah, so Cam, we went to law school together. I think I graduated 1 year before you. Is that right? I graduated in 2018.
2 years.
Two
2 years.
years
You got
before
me right
me.
too. Of
Dang.
2020.
Okay, way to make me feel old. And Cam, we were just talking, and you jumped straight out into the solo lane, straight out of law school.
Straight out.
So let's talk a little bit about that. Tell us who you are, what you do, and all the things.
So, as Avian mentioned, Attorney Brown, I am Cameron Red. I do have a private practice. I have a partner, so I'm not a solo practitioner.
My bad.
I work closely with my partner, Michelle Shalio, and we started this firm straight out of law school, RS Legal Group, Red Shalio Legal Group. We actually put our business plan together while we were in law school, our third year of law school. We took the class, Law Office Practice, where we got to see how to put a law firm together and how to essentially run a law firm, manage it, and all the underworkings that do not deal with the law. And so that sent us on the path straight out into hanging a shingle and beginning our legal journey. I don't know if you have more questions or because I can spill on all day about it. It has
Yeah.
been a journey.
Yeah, first of all, let's just shout out to North Carolina Central University for having a class like that. Like having a class that teaches you how to practice. If you plan to hang your own shingle and not go into a firm, that's pretty rare. A lot of law schools don't have that. And I wish that I would have known that I would be on this journey. And I wish I would have taken that class. It was offered my very last semester. It was just
Mhm.
coming to the school, and I had no idea I would be on this path. But if I did, I would have taken the class. I ended up just
Yeah.
reading like as many My Shingle books and blogs and all the things as possible. But it sounds like, as a result of that class and you and Michelle getting together, y'all felt prepared, y'all felt confident to hop out there, which is pretty rare. A lot of people don't just feel confident to jump into legal practice straight after law school, and that's whether they go into a firm or doing their own thing. So the fact that y'all did your own thing straight out of law school is huge. Can you talk a little bit about what your practice areas are, what your specialty is, and yeah, all the things related to that?
Okay, definitely, definitely. So we're a general practice firm, so we do a little bit of it all. I have dived into a niche of civil litigation, dealing with a lot of land. I say I'm a land lawyer, land litigation, so anything dealing with property, contracts around property. I am one who you should call. But we do a lot more than that. So we do the transactional side of real estate as well, doing residential and commercial closings, as well as criminal law. One thing that comes hand in hand with a lot of the real estate litigation and real estate transaction is estate work. People don't understand how important it is on having your estate plan, and that trickling over to then a lawsuit because you don't have that stuff in order. So we do estate planning, probate, and estates as well. And personal injury, that's one that keeps us going as well. And so we do a little bit of it all. It keeps us going. It keeps each day exciting. That's what I enjoy. It can be a lot at sometimes, but you can only take one bite of the apple at a time. So I have to remind myself that as I take on each case.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. I have kind of been like in this back and forth area since I relaunched my firm 2 years ago, or excuse me, 2 months ago, with deciding if I'm going to like niche down into something specific. I've been pretty general for these past 2 months. And it's like one side of me is like, oh my God, this is fun. This is excited to do something different all the time. You never kind of know what's going to walk in the door and what kind of clients you're going to have. And truthfully, like the way that my brain works, I can figure out anything. And if I don't know
Mhm.
it, I have colleagues, I have peers, and that kind of thing. Somebody that knows it that I
Very
can say, hey,
important.
listen, like just last week, I got this employment case and I need you to tap in. Tell me all the things that I need to know about this. Of course, I'll do my own research too. But I've been struggling to figure out, okay, am I going to niche down to like one practice area specifically and just become the GOAT, like the guru known for that thing? Or should I kind of keep meandering a little bit around in this space? I like it, but it makes it hard for marketing to really say, okay, this is Aviance and she does this. It's like when other lawyers are like, well, what should I, what kind of cases can I refer to? I'm like, send them all, baby.
Yeah. If not, I'll send them away if I don't want.
No, literally. This is exactly what I've been
flexibility,
doing.
I enjoy that flexibility. And you learn what you really like and what you don't like.
Exactly.
As you take on cases, it's like, well, this is painful. And you're like, oh, no, don't send that one my way.
Yeah. Since you've started practicing, have you kind of been able to narrow down and say things that you don't like specific areas or types of cases that you don't like?
I have. And I actually got a call today in relation to one, employment law. Employment law is an area where you can't go straight to filing a lawsuit. You have to deal with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission and go through their processes first before you have the right to sue.
Right.
I'm ready to sue. I don't want anybody's permission to file a lawsuit. So that's definitely one area. We pass out a lot of family law just because very profitable area of law, but going into it, you have to deal with a lot of catty situations. And I'm not a fan of that myself.
So much drama. I mostly refer out all of my family law cases too. I will take one or two here and there, but because like you said, it's very lucrative. There's some money in family law, but my God, the chaos around it, and like understandably so, you got people, family, like their children, people deciding. So it makes sense. For me, I can say there are a couple different areas. Immigration is not for me. Like immigration law, I did it truthfully for like 2 weeks as an intern. I went to an immigration law firm and was there and was like, oh my God, I absolutely hate everything about this.
Okay. I haven't touched much on immigration, so I don't even know the process for that.
So many forms. Then the law is constantly changing. And, because of the political landscape, for some of the things that I was seeing, it almost felt unethical to be taking people's money knowing that there was no way possible that they were going to be like granted anything, because this was under the first Trump presidency for me when I was there, and I was kind of just like, you just charge them folks $500 for a consultation, knowing good and well there's nothing you can do for them.
You're not getting their green card.
No, you talk to them on the phone, you ask them those initial questions, and instantly, off some questions you can kind of check people off and say, okay, you're not going to qualify, just go ahead on. So to still be fun, I don't know, but there's just a lot in immigration that it's just not for me, and I hate that because particularly now there's a strong need for that, but I'm just not the one for it.
Are you bilingual, or do you?
I speak Spanish. Yeah, I do, but I still.
Okay. That's one thing I want to do, not just because of immigration, just personal, but.
Yeah. I send all of those cases out, and then there are a couple other, like I was telling you before, I've been really weirding out on like securities and like understanding things related to AI, because I'm a strong AI skeptic, but I want to know all the things because I feel like the bots are about to take over.
Yeah.
And so
we're certainly going to work beside them.
Right, exactly. And so I want to stay ahead as an attorney to figure out, okay, how can I make sure, I don't think that they'll take our jobs, but they will certainly like wipe out the need for a paralegal. I strongly believe that.
Yeah. Do you implement it in your practice? Have you started implementing?
I do. I use Lexis AI, the protege model, for everything. Not for everything, that's extreme, but I use it all the time. Yeah. So much so that like I can't imagine needing a paralegal.
Right. Yeah. That's a game changer. I thought I didn't need it. The salesman was calling like, you need this. And then we tapped into it. I was like, yeah, I need this.
Exactly. It's so expensive. It is so expensive, but for me, it's been worth it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I agree.
Okay, so we talked about your practice area. Can you just share a little bit about like what you think is the most like important part of being an attorney? How did you feel confident enough to hop out there? The last time we spoke at the NCCU event, you were telling me about a mentor. Can you tell me like about what the role of your mentor was and if they gave you kind of some tools and strategies that you felt were helpful as you kind of branched out on this journey? Just talk to me a little bit about like your confidence and that kind of thing in practicing law.
Okay. So one of that touches back to the law office practice class and having a professor that ran their own law firm, Serena Williams. She gave us that confidence coming out like, you can do this. Yes, this is possible. So one is having someone that gives you that confidence, even in building your business plan. But specifically for us, we knew that we were going into real estate. And so insurance is a big thing for a lawyer. But before we could even start practicing real estate, we were required to have a real estate transaction for closings. We were required to have a mentor to get approval for insurance. And one thing that goes hand in hand with closings is title insurance, ensuring your property is your property. They also require a mentor. So that kind of pushed us out to seek a mentor that we had to have. Not even like, will you help me? Can you help me? But one thing about the Legal Eagle community, they're there for you. I do have to say one thing about going into civil litigation. You will walk into courtrooms, there's not a lot of minorities. And so in those arenas, that resource is a little more limited as if you go into a criminal courtroom where you see counsels that look like you, and certainly a number of clients that resemble you, unfortunately. But that confidence does come from the community, the connections that you have, and those people you can rely on. I have classmates. We have a group chat where we know that we can throw a question. What are you doing? Have you done this? Have you done this in this county? One benefit that we did have, Michelle and I, coming out, it was COVID.
Okay.
So the world was changing. So being unsure was a thing that everyone had to get comfortable with because it was a different playing field, even in the courthouses for your older established attorney. That's how they used to do it, but COVID changed the game. And now we have the implementation of e-courts. That rolled out early in our careers. I think Wake County may have started late 2022. So that was something where you got older attorneys like, well, how do you do this? And now they're looking to the younger attorneys like, well, oh, okay. So that helps. That helped kind of figuring out going to these courthouses all across North Carolina to gain some confidence, knowing that other people were asking some of the same questions that I was asking. Well, how do they do this?
Right. It's so amazing, like, to think about the mindset that you have and that you had at that particular time, because at that point in time, like, for me, I had just launched my firm in 2019 in November, and then COVID came in March. Like, I had literally just launched, like, made 10K in a month. I was like, oh my God, this is great. Like, thinking like, I'm really doing something. And then COVID came, and at that point in time, I was primarily just doing criminal law, and I was also doing a little bit of PI, even though I hated PI at that point. I was still doing it just like to keep the money. That's another area that I don't want anymore. Just
PI? Okay. Well, if you got your system, so we have paralegals now that helps with that.
Yeah. Paralegals pretty much run a PI practice, and I didn't know that back then. So yeah, anywho, the mindset that you have was at that point was like, this is an opportunity. This is an area for growth. My mindset at the time was like, I panicked and was like, this is the worst thing possible. Like, because for a while the court shut down, it was chaos and like instant mental spiral for me. I did not see it as an opportunity. So your perspective and your mindset matters so much. And, I left. I was like, okay, I got to move. I got to shut this firm down because COVID has just completely like upended my life, as opposed to you seeing it as opportunity to like hop in, because I was already unsure. Like, I had just graduated like a year before that. And I was like, okay, I don't already know what I'm doing. And I kind of was just coasting. So then to have COVID come and I really not know what I'm doing in this uncharted territory where you leaned in and like made it work and was able to flourish, I tapped out. And a part of me still regrets that to this day, because
Okay.
it's like I feel like my solo practice could have, it's been 5 years, like I could have done so much. But then on the other end, like I learned so much from the civil litigation firms that I did go and work at, and like I got to go and argue in federal court and like work on these huge civil rights cases, which is what my passion was. So like everything happened for a reason, and it all panned out and worked out.
Mhm.
um but I am just really impressed that you and Michelle like saw it as an opportunity to really lean in and take that leadership. That's good.
Yeah.
um Okay, so do you feel like, and I know we talked about this a little bit, the difference between being a woman attorney versus a male attorney, like there are certain advantages and disadvantages. I want to know if you feel like there are advantages or disadvantages from being a Black lawyer. Like, is there anything that you have experienced since you started practicing where it's like, okay, I have a little bit of a competitive advantage here, or this ain't right, and I know it's because I'm Black. Have you had any experiences like that?
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Each and every day. Nah, not each and every day, but often you feel that, whether it's spoken, said, or just, I don't know. There's something that's there by being a minority. You know when you walk in, like when you walk into a store, you feel eyes on you, whatever the case may be, as a young adult. And so going into courthouses, that may provide an advantage where you're underestimated. But again, you come in prepared, you start speaking, and they're like, "Oh, okay, all right, we're here." But then you have judge's discretion. So regardless of how good your argument is, the judge may have discretion on how to rule on the case.
Yep.
And so that's always a factor. When it comes to clients, just yesterday, a client, I'm sending emails, we're communicating, and then we have a Zoom meeting. And she was like, "Oh, I didn't realize you were Black." So that's always exciting to surprise a client with that. That happened to me last week. So I'm years in, and I'm still with that surprise element. That client yesterday specifically said, "Oh, I saw Cameron. I didn't expect to see you." So that's always fun to come in and give them a little surprise, and still be accepted and represent them well, and they be happy with the representation and recommending me to their friends.
Yeah.
One thing I will throw in with that is word of mouth is still the number one marketing tool in the business.
Yes. Yes. So, so, so true. I have recently started doing legal mailers again. And even still, like the people that come to me the most are the word of mouth clients.
Yeah.
And so, I can completely relate in what you're saying. It also depends on the county that you're in. So obviously,
Okay.
like when you're in Durham is where all the Black lawyers, all the Black judges are. You walk around the courthouse and it's like an NCCU law reunion. But
Yeah.
if you go out
Correct.
to Franklin County or, some of these more rural counties, it's like, what you doing here? Who sent you
Yeah.
here?
Yeah. And so that's always interesting going into security into a courthouse, and they're like, "Are you an attorney?" I am.
Yeah. And see, it's interesting that you get asked that. I don't even get that question, despite the fact that I'm dressed in a full suit and have a briefcase. They will still send me to the defendant line, and then I'm say I'm an attorney, and they say, "Well, where's your bar card?" Like
Mhm.
the thought of me being an attorney is not even a question. Like even my first day out of law school at my first big girl job, as I say, at the insurance defense firm, I was with two other lawyers. We were checking in at the hotel. And I was with a white male lawyer. He was brand new out of law school too. And she asked him, was he the lawyer? Because she knew that lawyers were checking in. He said yes. And she was like, and let me guess, you're the legal assistant, right?
Wow.
It's just like,
Assumption.
if you knew the
Yeah.
two lawyers were checking in, you know? So
Yeah.
there are always those experiences, but for me, I have like decided to lean into it from, like I was saying a second ago, with the growth mindset, to see it as like an opportunity for one, like what you were saying, to shock people. And you come in and you have this expectation of me, and then I come in and speak the way that I speak, and you hear what's in my head, because I got a lot of stuff up there and I'm quite smart.
Yeah.
And then you say, who is this little Negro? She know all of that.
Giving it to them.
So I've kind of just taken it like and seen it as an opportunity rather than always focusing on the negative.
Yeah. Can't do that.
Exactly. Because truly, like, if you let that stuff get into your head, it'll bog you down and you won't be able to practice in the way that you need to. You won't be able to represent people, zealously if you're always so caught up on the fact that the judge just said, "Are you the defendant?" When, obviously they know that you're the attorney.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have 5 more minutes. So I just want to do this speed round of fun questions that I like to ask, and so it's no pressure, just like silly stuff.
All right.
So before we hop off, Cam, I'm gonna ask you 5 questions and then I'll answer at the end. But I want to hear what you would say. Speed round.
Okay.
If you could add one objection to the list of objections that already exist in court, what would it be and why?
Oh man, can we cuss on your podcast?
Absolutely.
Objection, you made that shit up. That would be mine.
That's real good.
But I wouldn't cuss in court.
Mine, I know I said I was here to share at the end, but I was sharing now because that was too good to me. Mine is objection, meet me outside. Like, you just pissed me off, and now we need to, all this legal talk, we can set this to the side. Meet me outside, actually.
Yeah. We bought it.
Okay. If you had to go back and do it all over again, would you still choose law as your profession, or would you choose something else?
Well, that's an interesting question. I would choose law because I was a little kid and I was influenced by my aunt, who became the first Black female judge in Denver County in like 1996. And so she always had an influence over my life, but I didn't know what an engineer was. And so I always had, if I would have known what an engineer was, I might not have been a lawyer.
Okay. All right. That's fair. They make good money. So that makes complete sense. Okay. If you could choose one theme song that would play every time you walked into the courtroom, no restrictions, nothing off limits, what song would it be every time you walked in?
It'd be something Gucci, man. I don't know which track. I got a lot of favorite Gucci Mane tracks. I might, just because I know the lyrics of "So Icy" so well, might be "So Icy."
Okay. All right.
Look that up later. That's Gucci and Young Jeezy. But
I like Gucci and I know "So Icy."
Okay.
That ain't the song that I imagined that you was gonna say. I don't know why I thought it was gonna be like, I don't know, something more modern. But Gucci "So Icy," that's good. I can, got it. Okay. If you were in Congress, what's one bill that you would write right now? It could be as petty as you want it to be. What bill would you pass? Or would you write and put it?
Bill would I pass?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good question. That requires some in-depth thought.
Okay.
What bill would I pass? I think it would be something along the lines with your drug crimes, just because they catch up so many. They have so many people of minority caught up in the system.
That's real wholesome, and that's very mature of you. I have a very petty one that I would pass immediately. If I were in Congress today, the bill that I would write, I could very much get canceled for this. Grandma, if you listening, turn the volume off at this point. If I was in Congress right now and if I could write one bill, anybody over the age of 70, give me those licenses immediately. Get out of here.
Dang.
They are off the road.
That's the lifeline. I fight you on that bill. I got my nan. She's 94. She still drives. Well, she turns 94 this month. She still drives.
Did she drive the speed limit?
I believe so. I hope so.
My grandma's is the opposite. She drives entirely too fast. Like I've just resolved her 3rd speeding ticket. But aside from her, all the other nanas that's on the road, they going 35 and a 55, and I literally can't take it. I can't take it.
I understand.
If your font size on your iPhone is slid over to the size 20 to the point where your font is that big, I also believe that you probably don't need to be driving because you can't see the signs on the road. So let's just go ahead and get them on out of here.
Yeah. That's another Gucci Mane song right there. I'll plug them. I drive real fast, baby. I don't drive slow.
Okay. Yeah. Drive real fast and give me your license once you turn 70. I know that is very much ageist and ableist. Please Anywho.
But when you get 70, you're going to be mad you said that. Now, we're going to play this back.
Probably. And I'm going to probably be my grandma, the speed demon. Hoping that I have a grandchild that can go to court for me and resolve my tickets.
Please get me out of this, man.
Okay, the very last question that I have, which is a good one, and you don't have to give any names because I know you still have to practice in front of these people. Okay. But if judges had Yelp reviews, what is one review that you would leave?
If they had Yelp reviews, I don't know. I've had some judges. I don't know. I'm gonna refrain from answering this question. I've came across some judges, and it's interesting. I'm gonna leave it at that. Okay. But I was excited to hear your answer.
A couple in particular that I can think of that have screaming problems. So I would leave a review for the audience to either be prepared to bring some earphones to cover your ears, or, just be prepared to hear a screaming fest because they like to holler, like to hoot and holler. And in conjunction with that, they also like to pretend that they're your mother and give you lessons like a parent. And, maybe somewhere out in the world, somebody needs that, but...
Yeah, save it.
Shut up and do your job.
And rule in my favor.
Hello, that part. So yeah, if they had Yelp reviews, that's probably what I would say. If I could leave it anonymously, though, that's like...
I would need to be anonymous.
Exactly. Okay. And then let's see. Okay. Was there any that I didn't answer? I feel like I said I was going to come back and answer, then I answered them all. If I could go back and do it all over again, would I still choose law? Ooh, that's a tough one. Probably not.
Oh, for real?
I'm a creative and I really like creating things. And, in the perfect world, I would just, be floating along in life and be able to tap in and use my advocacy when I wanted to, but not have to. I would probably own a bakery. I love baking and cake decorating and cake designing. And it seems a lot less stressful than this. But I do love what I do. So
you make a good chocolate dessert, though.
That's my favorite. I love chocolate.
All right.
So yeah, I might.
Well, make me one, and I'll let you know if you should follow that passion.
Say it's never too late.
Right.
And then a theme song that I would play every time I walk in the courtroom. I would play Never Scared.
Okay.
Yeah, is that by Bone Crusher?
Yeah, that's Bone Crusher.
Bone Crusher. So I'm outside of the court.
Think I'm fun. Yeah. Classic. Yeah, that'll have you ready to go in there.
Yeah. If I could go in the court with that playing, boy, you wouldn't tell me a thing.
Yeah. Batter up.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining the podcast. This has been a fun conversation.
Thank you. I've enjoyed.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. And, I know you're a busy person, so thank you for dedicating this time to chatting with me. And if you have any parting words, feel free.
Follow your passion, be passionate about it, give it your all, and the challenges lead to the success.
Ooh, that's real good. You sound like a minister.
Amen.
Well, thank you, and thank y'all so much for tuning into another episode of Black and Barred. It has been real.